So there's no question that this is the case that I'm about to break down. And we're going to explain how the 6s and 7s and the 8s and the 9s deal with the handsome men out there in the world. Because it's all different, and they all perceive yourself different in what they have to do on their end to make ends meet with yourself. So let's say you're that dude. You're dealing with 6 or 7s. You're going to intimidate them so much, just as much as women whose 8s or 9s, just in different ways. Because the 8s and the 9s are as good looking, let's say, as yourself, but mentally they're nervous. In their minds, they feel they're not up to par with your intelligence, and this is why you're going to make her nervous to the point where you might not even see her. She finds you hella attractive, but you might not see her. Because she's nervous, she's going to look a little bit stunned in your presence. You're going to find she's not appealing on that kind of a level, which sometimes can be true, bro, to be honest. These good-looking girls, I mean, they never had to really learn game. They never had to really learn anything. Like, their looks at a young age, up to the age of an older teenager, up till however old they are, got them very far. They didn't have to do much. So when they come across somebody like yourself, it's unfamiliar territory. And this is why handsome men that have it all together, let's say, intimidate these kinds of women. And when it comes to the 6 and the 7s, when they conversate with yourself and they see who you are, everything you've done, they just see you for who you actually are. They're instantly going to feel not good enough. They're instantly going to have anxiety that they don't match up, that they're nowhere close to your level, that they have to instantly hit the gym. They're going to tell you things like, I've never had such an urge to hit the gym in my entire life. When they see somebody like yourself, and what are they doing? They're putting you on a pedestal. They're letting you know, which is kind of rare, but these girls that ain't 8s and 9s or 10s, let's say, bro, they will do that. They will tell you as a man exactly how good you are, because that's just how they are. These other girls, bro, they think that about you, but they're going to hide it. They're going to hide it because they don't want to give you that power. They don't want to let you know how good you actually are. So they're going to act unlikable. They're going to act a bit rude, nonchalant, just like their value is above yours, but it's all insecurity. They're not going to tell you your value. They're not going to tell you how you actually are. But you're going to hear how you actually are from other females who steps below those ones. Let's say 6 or 7s. And we're talking just on a look scale here. That's all we're talking about. Because 6 or 7s usually are far easier to deal with and are far more likable as a person than 8s and 9s. And as a handsome man, let's say, you just gotta hope you one day land upon an 8 or 9 who has it together mentally. That's what it comes down to. We're living in such a different generation today, bro. There's things all over the place. There's women all over the place. There's dating apps. There's everything. You can get a hold of anybody at any given time. You can meet up with anybody at any given time. There's lots you can do in the world we live in today. So, as a man, or even a woman, you have to capitalize on this. You have to first put your best foot forward and become the best version of yourself, and then put yourself out there to see what you can make happen, and don't give up so fast, because nothing's just going to happen overnight. Let time go on. You stay patient. Test the waters. Meet up with some people. Go on some dates. Do some certain things. And just, that's how it's got to be. But yeah, man, like, it's a different ball game when you deal with these different types of girls that, like, they're different calibers. Like, 8s and 9s as females, bro, they have dealt with everything. Like, everything. They're going to be far different than the 6 or 7 who's dealt with some things but not all things. That's what you have to understand. It's a different ballgame, and they're gonna act different to you, and it's so noticeable. Like, the energy, it's far different. And these girls, like, let's say if you're an 8 or 9 as a guy, and some of these girls are 6 or 7s, like, they're gonna pedestalize you. They're gonna do what maybe you would do as a man to these prettier women. Which, let's be honest, it usually don't end well, because as a man, these are not the girls you're gonna want long term. And if you're a man going up to these 8s or 9s and you're trying to pedestalize them, you're trying to act a certain way to make them like you and to not say nothing wrong and do all this stuff, you're doing yourself a disservice. Because they're gonna view you the same way as you might view a 6 or 7, which you don't want her long term. They're not going to want you long term if you act that way. And some people get it mixed up, like, you don't have to act so unlikable and so uninterested. It's just you don't do too much. You should be interested, but just kind of like hold back. Don't tell people how great they are. Keep stuff to yourself and just treat people like people. It doesn't matter if they're a 5 or a 10, a 7 or a 9. It doesn't matter. You just treat them like a human being, and that's how things should be. But in the world today, things get messed up because someone's pedestalizing somebody, it seems like. Like a 6 or a 7 might pedestalize an 8 or a 9 man. Or a 6 or a 7 guy might pedestalize an 8 or a 9 woman. And this is what cannot happen. Can't. But let's say you're that 8 or 9 guy. When it comes to an 8 or 9 female, and you have it all together mentally, on top of your looks, it's going to be a toxic situation. I can guarantee you that. They're going to have it together mentally, and most of these 8s or 9s, bro, don't have it together mentally. They don't. This is the key factor of what intimidates them. That's the key factor, because that's the indifference that you guys have towards one another. Y'all look like beautiful people together. That's why I could never understand, bro, going back to high school when I didn't understand the things I do today. I would think to myself, these two should be together. Like, why is she with that guy? They should be together. That they look better together. But honestly, man, it's not always the case. Sometimes opposites attract. Sometimes that's how it might be. If you're a super attractive man and you date a super attractive woman, there has to be some differences. Like, it's going to be hard to date somebody else in the opposite gender that's very similar to yourself. There's going to have to be some differences because opposites do attract. They can be good and you can be good, but it's going to have to be some different things here. Like, even if you see professional athletes, some of these guys are like 4s, 5s, 6s on a look scale, and it's like they're dating like 9, 10 supermodels because they're not the best looking guys, but they got other things going for them that maybe these girls don't got going for themselves, but they got the looks going, but these guys don't got the looks going. That's why they go good together. Because he has things that she don't, and she has things that he don't. Does that make sense? Like, bro, I'm telling you, this is how it is. And this is how most relationships happen. So there's going to have to be some differences. You're going to have to be a good candidate for a particular type of woman, and a particular type of woman is going to have to be a good candidate for yourself. This is pretty much how it's going to have to go. But yeah, there's a reason why certain situations happen the way they happen. When, let's say, you're that guy that's high up on the look scale, and even in other areas as well, you might think to yourself, things should go well with this female, but when it doesn't go well, you just have to understand why it didn't go well. There's certain indifferences that you have that just don't. It might go well for you, but in her mind, it's not going well. Because she feels afraid, she feels insecure, she's too far behind, mentally maybe. So it's all these things that play a factor, but at the same time, there's ways that opposites can attract. There's ways it can happen that way, but there's ways where it don't. And I don't think anything's that black and white. I think if you want something and somebody else wants something, you can make it work. I don't think anything is just purely black and white. It doesn't exist. Like, if you just make the decision to put in the time towards another person, and they do the exact same thing, things can work out fairly easily, bro. It's all about decisions. That's what it's about at the end of the day. And there's certain women that if you really went for it, you could probably have, but sometimes you don't want to do it. And it's the same thing with these women. Sometimes there's a certain guy that they could have just pursued, like not them first, but like they could have like made the effort to keep it going, but they didn't want to do it. So it depends what you want. And everything happens for a reason at the end of the day, guys. Literally everything happens for a reason. You can't second guess nothing. Nothing. You have to let everything go the way it's going. At all times. But I'm just breaking this video down in a sense where, and letting you guys know how if you become all that as a guy, how you can still have some failures in certain situations with girls that you might think it should happen. It should just happen. Like, I'm good, she's good, why not? There's other things involved that you might not know. And it's probably mental on their end. They don't want to look stupid, bruh. They don't want to look stupid. They don't want to look less than. Some of these girls are very egotistical, bro. Like, very. Like, they don't want the truth to come to light. They want to act a certain way and put on that persona, and they don't want to break it. Because if they do, you're going to see who they truly are. Like, I got caught in the past by one of my exes. Like, she acted like a certain type of person, and she was never that person. That's what messes you up. It's the false mask. And some of these people are genuinely narcs, and some maybe not. Maybe they just felt they had to do that, but they're not a full-blown narc. It was just their defense mechanism. They might not be that bad, but some's bad, bro. Like, a real narc is going to set you up. A real narc is going to do you dirty. dirty. And that's what you have to watch out for. When you're meeting new people, bro, you got to watch out. You got to pay attention to the small details. You have to see what's directly in front of yourself. And some of these pretty girls, bro, they're sly. Sly as a fox. They know exactly what they're doing. It looks like they're doing nothing, but at the same time, everything's happening the way they want it to happen. So you gotta be careful. You also have to be as sly as a fox, but not in a manipulative way. You're protecting yourself from getting completely obliterated by another human being. You're on guard. You don't let your guard down and just let anything happen. You have to know how to be in these situations, otherwise you're going to be over your head. We've all been there. And it's about living and learning, understanding human psychology, and it's one of the best skills you can have today. Bro, I'm telling you full well, it is the number one skill you should have today. Number one. There's lots of people, bro, you can watch these videos, you can do whatever you want. At the end of the day, it helps, but you're going to go through certain things by yourself, and you're still going to get caught off guard. The amount of guys that came to me in coaching calls, bro, and it's just like, I thought she was different, bro. Like, I understand the red flags and I know what to look for, and I even saw some in her, but I thought she was different. Because she made you believe that and you fell for it. You were naive. So you weren't as sly and as smart as you thought you were from knowing certain information. That's why it's important to go through things by yourself. And the thing that worries me is people who sit back too much and not take enough action in their dating lives and think they're going to land on the right one and it's just going to happen someday, but nothing's happening currently in their dating lives. Ever. You're going to have to go out there and take some else, because that perfect person ain't just going to pop up and it's just going to happen. You have to take some else. You have to talk to some girls. You have to talk to some guys if you're a girl, and we all know the girls are doing that, but some of the guys ain't. You have to do that. You have to talk to some 6 and 7s. You got to talk to some 8s and 9s. You got to see what's going on and learn more about human psychology and why things are the way they are, why she reacted this way, why things are going this way. That's what's important. The more you know, the better it's going to be for yourself. The less time you're going to waste. You might think it's a waste of time doing all that. No, it is not, bro. It's a waste of time staying so still in your dating life. That's a waste of time. Not trying, not putting in effort, being so scared that you're going to waste a little bit of time. You can't be scared to waste a little bit of time, bro. It's going to happen. I wasted a few months with some girl near the start of this year. It is what it is. You have to try certain things. You got to go through certain things. And that situation had to come to an end because she tried to put me through too many loopholes to the point where she's trying to gain power over my life. She talks about her ex was controlling and all this. You are controlling. They can't even see it, bro. They can't even see past their own heads sometimes. You were controlling. Like you can't just meet up, talk. They got to control every aspect and it got to be a certain way and it's da-da-da-da. Like, come on. That's what I'm saying, bro. Nothing is a waste of time if you have learned lessons from the situation you've been in. It's not a waste of time. It makes you better as a man. It makes you more experienced. It makes you better with every other person you deal with in your life. That's what it does. And even certain hardships with friends. Very important. Because you learn how to not get taken advantage of as a man. Especially when you become successful, because if you haven't learned nothing and you become successful and you have a bunch of people around you and they seem to be fun and all that, bro, you have no idea what's going on. You have no clue what's going on. No clue. You're naive. You're probably getting taken advantage of. And this is why learning is so important. These videos are important, but at the same time, you take things from the videos and you should remember certain things, but you have to go through the things yourself too. So when you go through it and you know the knowledge, it's like, okay, this is what happened. It makes sense. But anyways, that's the video for tonight. And yeah, if you're that dude that does well with women, you talk to many, you got stuff going, something doesn't work out that you kind of want it to work out, you can't overthink those situations, bro. Like, you have to understand, as that caliber of a guy, you're going to get tested. They're going to ask many questions, like, and they should, and you should be tested. Like, women ain't just going to give it up, bro. It's not that easy. You're going to get tested. They want to see who you are. They want to see what you're about, and you shouldn't not want that to happen. Like, you got to put in some work. You have to send more texts. You have to talk maybe a little bit on the phone sometime. You got to see them in real life. Like, it's going to be some work to get things going to the point where you want it to be with the woman you want it to be with. That's what it's going to take. And oftentimes, those guys that's at that caliber, they're going to have lots of fallouts with many different women. And some very attractive ones as well, just like myself. I've had many women, bro, that was very attractive, like my type. And it fell out. It fell through. Because of their insecurities. Like, bro, you also have to know, and this is the last thing, you have to know when to let go of certain situations with certain females. Because there comes a time where things are happening and it's borderline unimaginable. It's borderline unacceptable. It is unacceptable. Things get to a certain point where it's like there's nothing else you can do on your end besides relinquish and give up all your power. There's nothing left that you could do. You already did too much, probably. Too many chances. You accepted too much of the loopholes in the games. There comes that time, bro, where you have to cut your ties. And these situations are going to happen. You don't have to date. You don't have to put up with anything. You can live your life solo. You can do whatever you want, but I'm just telling you guys how it is. And if you fully understand how things work, I think you guys would want to put yourself out there more because, bro, you should. As men and women, we're supposed to be together, bro. We're not supposed to not be together. We are supposed to be together. But at the same time, it is far better to be alone than to be in some situation where some woman's trying to make you relinquish your power. It's like, why is women trying to make men less, but you want more? It's like they're trying to take you down, but they want a better man. And it's like, it don't make sense. That's where you have to let those go, because it's like they themselves don't know what they're doing. And those are the ones you have to just, okay. And usually it was the 8s or 9s that I dealt with that was this way. It is what it is. And this is where you have to cut your ties and keep it pushing. It's usually not the 6 or 7s that do those things. It's usually not. It's usually the hotter chicks, because they're used to like trying to emasculate every man they deal with, have the power, have the upper hand, be that baddie and stuff like this. But when they deal with that guy, bro, that's just better than them, because you got the looks and you got the mindset. Like you have more. You have more. And when she starts to realize this, a little bit of envy seeps in, more games come, because she is not used to being the inferior person in the situation, but at the same time, women want better men. These are the females, bro, that's a little bit confused. And these are the females you got to cut ties with. And with that being said, God willing, God bless. We'll see y'all at the top.